California girls. Hello everyone, Ryan here, and today I'm doing a special classic review. That's right, another classic review of the classic, because it's a classic review, of the classic Beach Boys record titled Pet Sounds. I did a classics week last time I went away, and I actually really enjoyed doing these reviews. Although they didn't do a huge amount of views or anything like that, I still enjoyed them nevertheless, and I'm going to be away again, so I thought I'd do another classics week. And the reason why I love doing this so much is because I just love to talk about albums that I absolutely love. Like, there are so many albums over the past however many decades that you could talk about, and it's just endless. Like, there are so many. While doing this, I do want to try and put people onto albums that they may have never heard of, but there are special circumstances where I just want to talk about an album that everyone regards as one of the greatest of all time, and the Beach Boys' Pet Sounds is one of those. This is an album that the more I think about it, the more I love it. Even when I'm listening to it, I absolutely love it, but then when I finish listening to it, I think about it, and the love just continues to grow. It's like you eat a really good meal, and then all you can think about is that same meal for ages, and all you really want to do is keep eating that same meal, but every time you have the meal, it just never disappoints. And if you can find any other album that starts off with a track as good as Wouldn't It Be Nice, then I'll probably call you out for being a liar. And if you're not lying, then you are wrong, my friend. It really is one of the greatest songs ever made, and just a perfect way to kick off an album. Like, oh my god, just those backing harmonies, the ba-ba-oh. And Brian Wilson's instantly recognizable voice. He just has a beautiful voice. It's just so boyish, but it has so much charm to it. And the lyrics on this song are so friggin' cute. Oh my god. I mean, just the whole idea of like wishing for that time to be with that one person, waking up together. It's so cutesy, and it's, like maybe not seen as the most masculine thing, but it's just so relatable when you actually think about it, when you actually have that one person that you want to be with every night, and you can't really be with them, but the dreaming about it is just something that really keeps you motivated and happy. But with Brian Wilson, there tends to be this sense of despair and sadness that lurks across his voice, and you get that instantly on the next track, You Still Believe in Me. It starts off so dreamlike, it's almost like a lullaby, but a really kind of sad lullaby. Brian recognises that he messes up quite a lot, and this girl tends to leave him, but after everything he does to her, she still comes back and believes in him. Brian Wilson actually went through quite a lot of psychological trauma throughout his life. He had mental problems, which you find out in that amazing film Love and Mercy, which starred John Cusack and Elizabeth Banks. They put in amazing performances, but throughout the time of recording, Brian Wilson had some issues as well, and it really creeps on to this album. But as sad as the lyrics can be on this album, which they can really, delve into some really sad emotions at points, the sound of the music is so inspiring, and it's so warm. The entire album just has this warmth to it that is quite indescribable. A good example of this is the track I Know There's an Answer, which actually is quite a bit of a pessimistic song. It was actually written while Brian Wilson was taking drugs, and he didn't really see any positivity, talking about how people can't really do it on their own, but it was initially a bit more focused on drugs, but then Mike Love changed the chorus because he didn't want it to be like a drug anthem. So the chorus that we now know is much more optimistic, with the line I know there's an answer, which Brian Wilson really yelps out at the top of his voice, and I really love that chorus. I think it brings a bit more of a lightness to the track. It gives it much more of an enlightening sound to, like what I was saying before. It feels more inspiring, and I think that Mike Love's influence on that track really helped the song become what it is. I'm Waiting for the Day might be one of my least favourite tracks on this album. This track really is one of those tracks that really rubs me the wrong way with the lyrical content. Like, it's about a woman who's in love with another man, and Brian Wilson is essentially playing a sleazy character on this song, as if like he's just lurking in the background waiting for her to start falling in love with him. I typically hate songs like this. It's like you're waiting just for that moment where you can strike in when the person is so vulnerable that you kind of take advantage of that, and then they start loving you. It feels all kind of fake, and I can't stand this kind of stuff. But to expect Brian Wilson to be the most perfect person who doesn't have flaws is stupid, because I think that that's what this album encapsulates the most. I mean, this is an album from a man who at the time was taking loads of drugs, kind of had a really bad, state of mind, but yet still made a masterpiece. And I really must mention the track God Only Knows, which is obviously a track that everyone knows and is referenced time and time again. And if I were to make like a list, compile a list of the greatest songs ever, this would be up there. I mean, it would be a very difficult list to make, but this would not miss the list at all. It's just absolutely amazing. The creativity that Brian Wilson had to create songs using instruments that people hadn't even ever thought of using, it just shows the amount of vision that this man had. He even talks about this as well on the track I Just Wasn't Made for These Times, which to me is kind of like the perfect song to describe Brian Wilson, because he wasn't made for these times. He was way ahead of his time, and he kind of even knew that. This is the most perfect album ever made. Like, it just is. It's just got hardly any flaws to it, and you've got to listen to it if you never have. This for me is an easy A star. It's probably the easiest A star that I'll ever give, because this album is just sheer perfection. And if you are a lover of this album, please go watch that film Love and Mercy, which stars John Cusack and Elizabeth Banks, which I mentioned before. It has an amazing cast as well, like Paul Dano is in that film too. And please go listen to this album. And also, if you like this review, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I do lots of reviews constantly, pretty much daily at this point, so yeah, make sure you look out for more videos. And also, have a good day.